The young and the restless spoilers, the weight of secrets. Cole had always been a man burdened by the truths he dared not speak. Every day, as he returned home to the immaculate yet suffocating apartment he shared with Victoria, an unease settled deep within him, a constant reminder of the secrets he guarded. Their relationship, a seemingly perfect union on the surface, was built not on mutual love or tender affection, but rather on the shaky foundation of hidden pasts and half-truths. Victoria, with her intense, almost obsessive, fixation on unearthing every buried secret in Cole's history, seemed to be less interested in his company than in the mysteries that clung to him like shadows. For Victoria, the past was an enigma to be solved. Her greatest fixation was the mystery of Claire, the young woman whose very existence had haunted her for years. Rumors and half-remembered stories spoke of a daughter lost to a cruel twist of fate, a girl kidnapped in the distant past, whose identity had been shrouded in rumor and heartbreak. Victoria's life had become a relentless quest for the truth. Was Claire truly the child she had once lost? Did fate, in its ironic cruelty, reunite her with the daughter she never truly believed could return? Every whispered conversation, every furtive glance from Cole, only deepened her obsession. Yet, behind the veneer of her determination, lay the painful knowledge that her connection with Cole was tethered more to the pursuit of this truth than to any genuine bond of love or compassion. Cole, on the other hand, carried a secret that cut even deeper. For years, he had lived with Jordan and Claire, weaving himself into the fabric of their daily lives with a care that belied his inner torment. In that household, amid laughter and shared sorrows, he had witnessed the unspoken, profound connection between a mother and her child, one that he knew, beyond any shadow of a doubt, was not built on blood. The truth was a quiet, relentless pulse in his heart. Claire was not Victoria's long-lost daughter. Instead, she was the daughter of Jordan, a secret that had grown heavy with time and guilt. Every lie he had uttered to protect this secret, every evasive glance when Victoria broached the subject, added another layer to the wall of deceit between them. In the silent hours of many restless nights, Cole found himself at a crossroads. The more he evaded the truth, the more he felt he was losing not just Victoria's trust, but a part of himself as well. He began to wonder, was the price of his silence worth the security of their fragile, constructed life? The burden of his deception had become unbearable, and in a moment of raw vulnerability, he resolved that he would risk everything. If, by baring his soul, he could finally reveal the truth to Victoria, even at the risk of losing her forever, then perhaps redemption lay within reach. It was a decision born of both desperation and a yearning for absolution, a leap into an uncertain future where forgiveness might pave the way to healing. The turning point came on a cool autumn evening, when the air was heavy with the promise of change. Victoria had been meticulously piecing together the fragments of her past, her mind a labyrinth of memories and what-ifs. That night, as she sat alone in the dim light of the study, she confronted Cole with the intensity of a woman determined to reclaim what was once hers. "Cole," she said, her voice trembling with a mix of determination and sorrow, "tell me everything. I need to know, is Claire really my daughter? Did fate bring her back to me?" Her eyes, dark with unspoken pain, searched his face for an answer that he knew would shatter the delicate illusion they had maintained. Cole's heart pounded as he realized the moment of truth had arrived. In that charged silence, he began to speak, his words tentative at first, then surging with the force of years of pent-up guilt and regret. "Victoria, there is something I have hidden from you for far too long. I was living with Jordan and Claire for years. I saw firsthand the bond they shared, and I witnessed truths you were never meant to know. Claire, the young woman you believe might be your lost daughter, is not biologically yours. She is Jordan's daughter. I kept this secret, hoping it might protect you, but it has only torn us apart from the inside." The room seemed to close in around them. Victoria's eyes widened, and for a moment, time itself appeared to stall as the weight of Cole's confession settled over her like a shroud. A torrent of emotions surged through her: betrayal, disbelief, heartbreak. Tears welled up, unbidden, as she grappled with the revelation that the daughter she had yearned for, the beacon of hope in her otherwise desolate life, was nothing more than a ghost of a past she could never reclaim. "No," she whispered, voice choked with grief. "It can't be true. I spent all these years believing, hoping, that Claire was my daughter. How could you hide something so important from me? Cole's voice wavered as he continued, I was afraid, Victoria. Afraid that the truth would destroy what little we have left. I thought that if I could shield you from the pain, maybe you'd forgive my lies someday. I never meant to hurt you. I loved you in my own flawed way, but I couldn't let the secret remain hidden any longer. His confession, raw and unvarnished, hung in the air as a bitter reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of love and deceit. In the aftermath of that shattering revelation, Victoria's world seemed to crumble. She wept uncontrollably, the sound of her sobs echoing in the empty spaces of their shared life. For a long, agonizing while, she refused to believe that the truth was indeed as Cole had spoken. Her mind raced through every memory, every moment of doubt, until the undeniable evidence of his words forced her to accept the reality. It was a truth that not only severed the fragile ties of their relationship but also dismantled the identity she had clung to for so long. In her heart, she had built a sanctuary of hope around the idea of reclaiming her lost daughter, a hope that was now cruelly dashed. Yet even in her overwhelming grief, Victoria was determined to control the narrative. With a steely resolve born of heartbreak, she commanded, Cole, you must never speak of this truth again. It is too painful for me, and I cannot bear the thought of it being exposed to the world. Let it remain our secret. Her voice, though soft, carried an ironclad authority, a final attempt to reclaim some semblance of control over a life that had become unrecognizable. In that command lay a poignant irony. The very secret that had driven a wedge between them was now to be silenced forever, locked away in the recesses of a past that neither could ever fully escape. For Victoria, forbidding Cole from revealing the truth was not merely about preserving her own fragile heart, it was about protecting the memory of a daughter she believed she once had, and shielding herself from the relentless cycle of hope and despair that the secret had wrought. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the repercussions of that fateful confession rippled through every facet of their existence. Cole lived in a state of constant torment, haunted by the knowledge that his decision, to risk everything in the pursuit of forgiveness, had irrevocably altered the course of their lives. Victoria, for her part, was left to navigate the labyrinth of her shattered dreams, each step forward a painful reminder of the love that had been built on lies. In the quiet moments, when the world outside their door fell silent, Victoria would often stare into the distance, her eyes reflecting the tumult of emotions within. The secret that once offered a glimmer of hope had instead become a permanent scar, a reminder that some truths are too devastating to bear. And yet, even as she ordered Cole to keep the secret hidden, there lingered a part of her that wondered, what if the truth had been different? What if, against all odds, the daughter she had so desperately yearned for had been her own? The irony of fate is that sometimes the pursuit of truth leads not to redemption, but to irrevocable loss. In their desperate bid to salvage what remained of their love, Cole and Victoria had sacrificed authenticity on the altar of secrets. And though the revelation had forced Victoria to confront the painful reality that Claire was not her biological daughter, but rather the daughter of Jordan, it also left them both to grapple with the knowledge that their lives had been, from the very beginning, nothing more than a fragile illusion. An illusion built on half-truths, hidden agendas, and the ever-present fear of vulnerability. As the finality of that night's confession settled over them, the couple stood at a crossroads, their futures shrouded in uncertainty. The truth, though revealed, remained a forbidden topic, a silent specter lurking in every shadow of their shared life. And in that silence, the echoes of what might have been a genuine, unburdened love served as a constant reminder of the heavy cost of secrets. Ultimately, the question that would haunt them both was not simply whether Claire was Victoria's daughter, but rather how they could ever hope to rebuild a life defined by honesty and trust after a lifetime of concealed truths. Cole's bold decision to risk everything for a chance at forgiveness had unmasked a reality that neither could ignore, leaving them with the bitter knowledge that sometimes, the truth does not set you free, it only deepens the wounds. A love that defied the truth. Cole stood in the dimly lit apartment, his heart weighed down by the words that had just left Victoria's lips. We're done. It was what he had expected, what he had prepared himself for. After all, What kind of future could exist between them when every moment they had shared was overshadowed by the lies he had told? He had been a liar. Claire had been part of the deception. They didn't belong in Genoa anymore. But knowing it was inevitable didn't make it hurt any less. Victoria's expression had been unreadable when she made the decision, but Cole had seen the way her hands trembled, the way her eyes glossed over as though she was barely holding herself together. She was hurting too. And that was what made it unbearable. For years, she had held on to the hope that Claire was her long-lost daughter, the one stolen from her in the past. But now that the truth had come out, that Claire was not her biological child, it shattered everything. Or at least, that was what Cole thought. Perhaps, if this truth had remained buried, they could have lived the illusion a little longer. But it was out now, and there was no escaping it. Or, was there? The possibility of forgiveness. What if Victoria didn't walk away? What if she didn't let the truth destroy what they had? What if she chose to love Claire anyway? Not because of blood, not because of fate, but because of choice. What if love was enough? Victoria sat in silence after her outburst, staring at Claire. The young woman, who only moments ago had been the center of all her hope, now felt like a stranger. Claire had not spoken a word since the revelation, her face pale with guilt, her hands clenched together in fear of what would come next. Cole expected Victoria to tell Claire to leave. To tell him to leave. To end it all in one final, heart-wrenching moment. But then, she did something he never expected. She looked at Claire, not with anger, not with hatred, but with something softer. Something more profound. "I should be furious," Victoria finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I should hate you both for lying to me. For letting me believe something that was never real." Cole swallowed hard, waiting for the inevitable. But then, she took a deep breath and continued. "But the truth is, Claire, I love you." Claire's head shot up in shock. "What?" Victoria wiped at the tear that had escaped down her cheek and let out a trembling breath. "You're not my biological daughter. I know that now. But for all these months, I believed you were. I felt like a mother again. I was a mother again. And I don't know if I can let that go." Cole's heart pounded as he realized what she was saying. Victoria wasn't rejecting Claire. She wasn't pushing her away. She was choosing her. Claire's eyes filled with tears. "But I lied to you, I know," Victoria said, nodding. "And that hurt more than anything. But when I look at you, I don't see a stranger. I see the girl who filled the emptiness inside me. I see someone who needed a mother as much as I needed a daughter. And maybe that's enough." Cole couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had been so certain that once the truth was out, everything would fall apart. But Victoria, she was stronger than he ever gave her credit for. She was choosing to keep Claire in her life, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. A new beginning for the first time in weeks, hope flickered in Cole's chest. If Victoria could find it in herself to love Claire despite everything, then maybe, just maybe, there was a future for all of them. "You're saying, we don't have to leave?" Cole asked hesitantly, as if speaking it out loud would break the fragile moment. Victoria turned to him, her gaze steady. "I don't know what we are anymore, Cole. I don't know if I can forgive you for lying to me. But I do know that I don't want to lose Claire." Claire let out a shaky breath, her body trembling with emotion. "Victoria, she hesitated, as if afraid to say the words. But then, with a voice thick with tears, she whispered, "Mom." That single word shattered the last of Victoria's resistance. She pulled Claire into her arms, holding her tightly as though afraid she would disappear if she let go. And maybe, in that moment, it didn't matter that they weren't connected by blood. Love was enough. Cole exhaled, feeling a strange sense of relief settle over him. He had prepared himself for the worst, but instead, he had witnessed something miraculous. Victoria had lost a daughter once before. Now, she was refusing to lose another, no matter what the truth said. Maybe love was stronger than blood after all.